UFC traveling a little bit more for their Fight Night cards. They're doing a show in Louisville, Kentucky on June 8th for UFC Fight Night Louisville. That's going to be at the KFC Yum Center. They haven't been there since 2011 when Martin Kampmann and Diego Sanchez fought in the main event. That was a different day and age. This was a UFC on Versus card. UFC on Versus 3. UFC 303 in Las Vegas on June 29th. That's Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Pyfer is looking to rebound after his loss to Jack Hermanson. And also added to the card is Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Jillian Robertson. That's number 14 and number 15 in the strawweight division. UFC 304 is expected to take place in July in Manchester. One of the fights which is expected to be on the card is Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. Allen is coming off a loss to Movsar Evloev. Giga Chikadze won his last fight against Alex Caceres.
Right, just back from Vegas. Was over there doing YouTube stuff, meetings, all that stuff. Had a meeting with the UFC. It has now been confirmed that I am fighting on UFC Manchester, so I'm back home preparing for that now. Started the early stages of training camp, just waiting for my opponent to accept. So stay tuned, keep up with the socials, keep up with the YouTube channel, and I'll be announcing it very soon.
As far as who Aspinall will fight next, it could be Curtis Blades, who's coming off that win over Jalton Almeida. It could be Cyril Gane. That would be a great fight. They're ranked number 1 and 2 in the heavyweight division. It won't be John Jones. John Jones taking on Stipe for the title at some point when Jones is healthy. And it won't be Sergey Pavlovich. Aspinall's coming off a win over Pavlovich. Gegard Mousasi says the PFL has not given him a fight. They want to cut his pay, but obviously doesn't want to get his pay cut, so they have not given him a fight yet since they took over Bellator. He has not fought in almost a year. UFC 300 prelims were the most watched across platforms. It does make sense because those were very stacked prelim cards. One Championships June 7th card adds this fight. Some tickets for UFC 302, Makhachev versus Poirier, are on sale now. Prices range from $306 to over $4,006.
UFC 302 adds Randy Brown versus Zaleski dos Santos.
A couple wins in Zaleski dos Santos' career, which have aged beautifully, is beating Sean Strickland as well as beating Benoit Saint-Denis. Saint-Denis might fight Dan Hooker in September. Sean Strickland takes on Paulo Costa June 1st at UFC 302. UFC 302 also has Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. That's a good fight right there. A chance for Hernandez to break into the top 10 if he can beat Dolidze. Dolidze is ranked number 9, Hernandez number 12. Hernandez is coming off a win over another Roman Kopylov. Mike Perry says that Darren Till turned down over $2 million to fight him. Perry will take on Thiago Alves at the end of the month, a fight that doesn't have a tremendous amount of appeal because Alves was in his prime around 2009 when he fought for the UFC title against Georges St. Pierre, but that was at UFC 100. That was like 15 years ago. UFC 300 just took place over the weekend, so that's a fight that doesn't have tremendous amount of appeal, but it will headline Knucklemania April 27th. Bobby Green, fresh off a victory over Jim Miller at UFC 300. He's 3-1 in his last 4 fights. Only loss was to Jalen Turner via KO. Green has interest in fighting Paddy Pimblett next. I had a rule I don't fight outside the United States of America. I did one for Brazil and now one for England. The one for Brazil was against Trinaldo. Trinaldo no longer fights in the UFC. He fights for Gamebred Bare Knuckle MMA. He fought in November. He beat Sasha Palatnikov after Palatnikov tapped out after he injured his knee.
You can tell your fake doctor that Dr. Bryce said so. Look, if eggs was bad for your cholesterol, I'd be dead already. I've been doing this every day for over a year. Check it out, 120-something eggs in that bucket. Guess who's gonna eat them all in like 5 days? Me, Dr. Bryce. That's what I'm talking about, dude. All these other doctors, man, they're bought off. It's all a bunch of propaganda. Eat your eggs, man. You're gonna be weak if you don't.
Hardcore Jim Miller fan gets a tattoo of Jim. On Friday's PFL card, these are a couple fights. Gracie versus Yamauchi and Koreshkov versus Umalatov. Kayla Harrison picked up a dominant win over Holly Holm over the weekend. PFL founder and chairman Don Davis using this opportunity to promote the PFL. Kayla is a PFL champion, so no surprise her dominant UFC win. Kayla destroyed Holly Holm, a former UFC champion. PFL champions can compete with anyone. Alexander Shlemenko is going to be taking on Curtis Millender on June 1st in Shlemenko's own promotion called Shlemenko Fighting Championship. Millender used to fight in the UFC. This is Shlemenko's 81st fight. He's been fighting for 20 years now. Dorian Price with Dana White. Dorian was a competitor on Season 6 of The Ultimate Fighter, the season that was won by Mac Danzig. There's no UFC on Saturday, but Fight Pass has some other events like Karate Combat 45 and Cage Warriors 171. Alexandra Albu, now a fitness trainer. She had a 3-2 record in MMA. 4 of her 5 fights were in the UFC. She had a 2-2 record there. This surprisingly was not ruled a knockdown, so Max Holloway still hasn't been knocked down statistically, but most would consider this a knockdown. Ilya Topuria says he'll fight Max Holloway only if the BMF title is on the line. If not, then he'll fight Volkanovski. That's a rematch that really doesn't need to happen right now. Topuria knocked him out without controversy, without debate, so a rematch really isn't necessary.
Hi everyone, I'm Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet, and I'm coach for Ultimate Fighter 32. Всем привет, я Валентина Шевченко, и я главный тренер Ultimate Fighter 32. Hola queridos amigos, soy Valentina Shevchenko y soy la entrenadora de Ultimate Fighter 32. สวัสดีค่ะทุกคนฉันชื่อ Valentina Shevchenko ฉันเป็นครู Ultimate Fighter 32.
Okay, hypothetically, hear me out. John Jones versus Ryan Garcia. We are both coked out. Who wins?
I prove to everybody that I don't do drugs. I'm perfect, perfectly fine person as far as, don't do drugs. I've been mentally evaluated. I had a meeting with the state commission. I've done everything I had to do. I don't understand why people continue to judge me so hard. Like, I'm really just having fun.
And still, world champion. Still. Down.
Please stop touching my truck.
Well, you know what?
What?
I don't think you really got that.
Please get off my car. Get off my car.
Move me.
No.
Touch me.
Get off my car.
Touch me. I'm not doing anything.
Off my car,
Don't touch
please.
me because I could bust you in the
Okay,
face.
bust me in my face.
I beat both you asses, but I won't do it.
Really?
Try.
Listen, I want to